So, after we got back to the tavern and spoke to Galliana, the others decided it'd be best to try and finish off that vampire now. Can't disagree with them, but I'm not sure how useful I'll be. My magic's completely exhausted. So we made our way there, and the servants were so strangely passive. They were cleaning blood, and so much blood. But we found him eventually. It was drinking someone's blood, and it was the doctors that we met a few days ago. And I don't know. So I saw him and I knew he had to be stopped right then, even if the doctor couldn't be helped. There's no talking with the man who'll just carelessly take someone's life like that. It was a hard fight. He tried to go for my throat at the end. I think he was desperate, but we managed to get him in the end. And somehow that wasn't even the most chilling part of the night, because then the servants started screaming at the top of their lungs. I tried to help however I can, but I don't know how to help someone in this situation. I did everything I could, I think, but I still wish I could have done more.
As soon as I had tore up that piece of paper, that damned paper that I had signed and planned, above his corpse, the doctor's corpse. Fuck! I was finally going to get some answers. Oddly enough, as strange as it sounds, but in the end, what a fucking idiot. I knew about the dead men's blood. I thought nothing of it before, but the fact that he just went in. Maybe he wanted a death wish. I don't fucking know. Could have probably put his body somewhere else rather than his infernal home, but I don't think any of us, especially me, need to be tied to any of this. So, as horrible as it sounds, I just kind of left his body there in the house, and I don't know if it's due to the blood loss or having to deal with that vile Mr. Pierce, but something or someone, or maybe the eye seemed to be holding still when I stared in the mirror, but I broke it. Or I'm going insane. I don't really fucking know. I don't know anymore. Oh well, at least we were able to hold up William's request. The fact that this has happened again, and people knowing, the only one that never knew or never has, never knew the secret, is who I'm trying to look for in Silburn. I hate myself for never telling him sooner. I wish I did, and now it's worse. And now I'm going to be stuck traveling with these other damn people. It's time to get out of this fucking city.
It's bittersweet to leave somewhere that's become basically a home to me. It was tumultuous near the end, but that doesn't make it any less of a home for me. It's where I met everyone. It's where I finally left solitude. It's so many things to me. And now we have to leave. I thought it would be easier than this. I didn't think it would hurt this much. Maybe it would be easier if one of the people I had met along the time was a bit more receptive to even coming with me. The last fragment of home that I have is in Amrita, and she barely wants anything to do with me. And I get it, I do, but that doesn't make it any easier to deal with. I wanted home, and I don't know where it is anymore.
Amrita, because you were out part of last time, you did complete a long rest, so you can heal a little bit.
I will go ahead and do it. It's my last one. It won't be a whole lot, but yeah.
And during that time, did you want to do anything in terms of downtime or preparations for the trip before you actually depart during that long rest?
Yes, I'll say after they would have gotten back and she went to bed late in the night, and around the time the others have probably already left the inn and everything, she wakes up a little later and walks down through the bar area and nods her head to whoever is at the thing, just inquiring, where can I get a horse? I need to... I know I asked before, but this time I really am serious. I would like to procure one before I leave.
Anne will grab a quill, jot down the address for stables. I am sorry to see y'all go, but I get it. I do understand.
I appreciate your hospitality in the end, but yes, leaving here's for the best. And as I said, I'm looking for someone and would like to find them as soon as I can.
As for Rick down at the stables, he can help you.
Thank you. And when she looks at the address, does it appear to be in the similar direction of where Dr. Brandstein's house was, or it's a different direction completely?
I mean, kind of, sort of similar, because you're on the northern westernish side of town, kind of, and it's both of them are not that direction, so kind of, but not in a direct route.
Yeah, she will go to the horse stables first then, and then eventually maybe stop by and see if Vanstein ever got her note at all, and just to bid him goodbye, but after procuring a horse, of course.
Okay, so you want to actually ask him about it and say, hey, I was the one who left you this note?
I think she would have... Never mind. Ignore me. No.
I mean, if you want to, that's fine. I just didn't... It seemed last time like that was not the direction you were going, so I wasn't sure.
I thought she would have signed it, but I never specified. That's why I wanted to specify it now in the narrative to fix it, or just make it clear.
If that's what you want to do, sure.
Yes. But yeah, she's going to go procure a horse instead first.
Mm-hmm. The stables are near-ish the southern gates. Seems to be where a lot of the traffic going in and out for field hand work and that sort of thing is. There's a younger man, maybe late 20s, early 30s, possibly. Scruffy beard, kind of a slouch hat made of leather, tending to some of the horses and bringing out a saddle to set onto one.
Excuse me, I was wondering if you had a horse that I could purchase for my journeys.
Look over, kind of tip his hat back. we got horses for sale. What you looking for? A rider? Not so much a workhorse?
Correct. I assume you are Rick?
Yeah, that'd be me.
Yes. One of the innkeepers sent me, so yeah, that would be great.
Well, I can show you around. I'll tell you right off, my riders typically go for about 75. Hope that you've got that kind of coin to spend on it, and not cheap. They are hardy and fast out in the wild, so you're gonna get your money's worth. I can guarantee you that.
desperate long haul to get out of here and get to Silver. Is there any way you'd be willing to bargain? I really don't have much on me. At best I could offer is 40.
Well, I'm not sure I can part with a good stallion or even a fast mare for that amount. That's
okay.
almost half of what the draft horses that we usually sell for plowing fields go for a little less, but even them. Make a persuasion check.
Yawns.
Kind of looks you up and down. He's a bit shorter than you, but he's kind of a taller, lanky guy himself. You look like you're in desperate straits. Guess a lot of us are after past couple nights.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I've got an old brood mare. She's past her prime in that. Not really good for much anymore, but she could still ride. She's a draft, but I could part with her for less than the normal amount if you're willing to. 40. I've gotten as many foals as I am going to out of her.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. Thank you. And Amrita goes ahead and reaches into her bag to get some of the gold out, or all 40 of it.
He will count it quickly, kind of making stacks of 10 in his hand. Put that into his pouch. Here, I'll take you round back.
She follows him round back.
And you can describe what you want this horse to look like.
So when Amrita walks around the corner, she is kind of surprised to see this horse. It's all white, but has one streak of like a black in the mane and everything, and looks like there's a black circle spot over the right side of the eye.
Mostly white. I would say it's probably got a few kind of graying speckles in the sides. It's definitely older, you can tell. Larger draft horse, kind of the shaggy legs around the hooves. Would be large for most people to ride, but it fits your height. So are you going to be needing any tack, saddle? And we've got a few for the draft horses, but that's takes a bit of adjustment on the leathers. You're welcome to ride bareback. It's
Yeah, if you don't mind, or if you have any just extra. I shouldn't need that much, but
I'm
saddle and
meaning
stuff
for
to do.
purchase, of course.
Oh, yes, right. It'll probably be fine. Like I said, all I really have left, I've pretty much given you all I had, other than a few coins left, but it'll make do.
Hey, I can do a thing.
He could do a thing, but you don't know that. Or you know a little bit about it due to the ladder.
Oh, she was there when I made the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she doesn't
But I made a
know
ladder.
how far that extends. Yeah. Anywho,
Yeah, and she's
I am the
probably
ladder cleric.
yes, but she's probably not going to
Ladder
ask that
domain.
right off the bat. So she's just getting the horse, and I'll say the horse's name is Petunia.
Good one. Rick kind of goes up to the horse, stroking the mane, kind of right over that black streak. Well, sad to see you go, Petunia, but serve her well.
I will. Thank
And
you.
it gets kind of, well, safe travels. Hope you get to where you're going with a bit more coin in your pocket. It's not wise to travel without it. And again, I hear it's not wise to travel with it either. There's a decent amount of bandits up north near the Ashmouth. Watch out for that.
Thanks.
And in departure, everyone else last week kind of had an opportunity to shape the narrative a bit, potentially. And so I was going to ask, because you were gone at the end of the session, if you had anything that you would like to see happen kind of related to the characters of the arc that had occurred in the last, section of the narrative. And that doesn't have to be related to Amrita. It could just be anything story-wise.
Yeah, I would like to see something, depending, even if the dice are crap, but maybe Galliana being not as estranged with her daughter and probably teaching her some ways to defend herself against vampires and the art of vampire hunting. Maybe?
Midnight dueling. Sure. Go ahead and roll a D100 for that. So, yeah. I will get to that. So, anything else you need to purchase before you guys head out? Do you have any money? Do you have any money left?
Yeah, after that pearl,
nah.
we're good to go.
Clerics are tapped.
I have 6 gold.
We gotta go rob a vampire or something. Oh wait, we didn't. We should have, but we didn't because we're good people.
Did you want to get a pair of gloves, Amrita?
Yes.
So the blood of her sins don't stain her hands.
Exactly. I would say for a decent pair, you could probably find them for half gold.
Okay. So what would I get back then for a half gold?
Another half gold. So if you spend a gold, they would give you a half gold back in change.
Okay.
Half golds count as electrum.
Ew.
So the EP, you would have one of those and reduce your GP by 1.
Got it.
Next morning, Acrio has prepared the mules and the cart early. Everybody's gathered themselves and what supplies they can in the early morning kind of mist before, or just as dawn is coming over, the Gyre reach to the east over the Sumberwald. You would all see that Amrita has led around to where you are, this older looking white draft horse, which you've not seen before, so that's new.
Yeah, pet it.
Rita stops her from petting it. Don't.
Okay.
Cillian is the last one to exit the tavern, kind of a pack thrown over his shoulder. He looks tired, like he's doesn't usually get up this early. That's not really his thing, but he's ready to go, and I don't know if you'd say excited, but interested to be traveling with this group, and almost seems a bit anxious with a desire to be moving on. No real indication as to why exactly, but Anna and Mel will pack up basic breakfast for the road so that you guys have that, kind of just giving a fond farewell as you exit.
No, sorry, it's still just hug her before they go.
Yes, as one person.
Yes.
The
Use
two of
them
them
together.
in one. Yes.
Everybody hugs both of them. Group hug.
No.
Yes.
No,
I don't
and Rita
know.
by this point is gonna hop on the horse and like she's ready to go.
I'm giving them a hug anyway.
Mhm.
Because Miss Cranky Pants over there doesn't want to be affectionate.
She's not affectionate, man.
Uh-huh.
Really? Wow.
Wish them luck. Yada yada. Stay safe. Best wishes. Good luck in the new year. And then we leave. It's a new year, right? New moon.
Yes, it's fairly close to the beginning of the new year. Yeah, most of the year's ahead of you.
Yeah, Lorelei will give Anna and Mel a hug as well, and just kind of request that if ever they're at the church, if they could just pop to the graph and check that Laz's grave is okay. Just keep an eye on it for her while she's gone.
We'll check in every now and again.
Thank you. Someone shouldn't be alone.
I don't guess I have to tell you all to mind the roads. It's bad out there, but this time of year it's probably the best time to be traveling, so hope you find shelter before the harvest moon sets in. Vampires are always the worst.
Yeah, they kind of are. But we'll be alright. Thank you so much for everything you've done.
I think you will. I think you will be alright. At least I pray so.
Well,
Wow.
seems we have been in this town long enough. Let's head out.
Kind of slap the reins. Both the mules start to prod themselves forward, wheels kind of rattling over the cobblestone streets. You pass through kind of the central square in town. You can see Talbot, the husky, sitting on the boardwalk porch in front of Galliana's general goods store. Magda is next to him sweeping. You can see Galliana in the window preparing things for the day. She glances out, sees you, and kind of steps onto the porch with not a wave exactly, but crosses her arms with a nod, acknowledging everything that you've done, and kind of puts her hand on Magda's shoulder, says something to her, a bit far off to hear it. But it does seem as though
Sorry.
their relationship is not overly soured, and knowing Galliana, she's the type to be proactive.
Just give him a wave as we go.
Wait, bye! Shouting across the square.
You continue rattling through the streets of Korsava, past Hannibal Ward's shop, which you can see he's kind of packed up, got things out on the street that are for sale, horseshoes by the dozen. He's got number of boxes of nails and basic armors and things that he has forged that he can't travel with on sale, trying to move his product before heading out with the family. You pass the church, the cathedral on the hill with that angelic statue and the fountain on the road leading up to it. You see, sitting next to the fountain, somewhat rotund, portly priest, as he is petting Grim, the shaggy-haired mastiff, dark-furred, with the silver collar, and he just glances up at you, unsure what even to do, but just watches as you leave. Gives the dog another scratch behind the ears and stands up to make his way back to the cathedral.
Gonna shout to say bye to Grim, but not the priest.
Just everybody in the town trying to sleep in on a Saturday, and just this one piece of shit screaming at the top of
It was
her
a high-pitched
lungs.
child.
It
Yes.
was definitely not
Yes.
Saturday. It was literally just Sunday, like 1 or 2 days ago.
Well, now it's Monday.
Yeah, most people seem to be up and about, and as you guys make your way toward the northern gate on the road toward Silburn, destination for several of you, with work to do or things to find. A number of others, townspeople, are also heading out of the city for their work. You can see a number of cattle along the moat being watered for the morning before grazing. Continuing north, there's signs of people strapping in their plows to their horses. You see people tilling fields, throwing seed, all with Cathars and other armed individuals, whether they are church trained or not, kind of standing guard just in case. As the sun is coming up, still hidden behind those clouds, it's somewhat gloomy, but the new moon promises greenery and the sprouting life that returns every year for its cycle as you all begin a journey
To the come zone.
Tristan!
Yes, that is the ultimate destination. Who all is I assume Asuriel, Lorelei, and Cillian are all riding in the wagon next to these barrels of blades.
Sharp objects, yeah, just
Yep.
don't
Sure
hit a
hope we
rock
don't.
too
Sure
hard.
hope we don't like tip over, or we will become porcupines.
Everybody okay? You see Lorelei fucking 8
It's just
swords.
pool of blood.
They're probably sealed, or at least like held
Secure.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've got lids on them. They rattle. You can hear the metal inside. Somewhat. Some of them have scabbards, so it's not like they're all going to be blunted or anything by the time you get there. But
Yeah.
there's also not, sharp points just sticking out of them. All the while, is Amrita going ahead, or is she trying to take up the rear to keep an eye on things as you guys travel?
She would be going ahead and everything,
Okay.
just keeping her distance from the cart, staying in front of them and everything, given what Acrio and Asuriel know now. And she's not going to really talk about it at this time or anything because they're journeying, but she takes a moment where she probably looks back at the city and just reflects on it being one of the terrible places that she's ever been, and so much bad has happened here. She's thankful to be out, and she feels less suffocated when she inhales the air of nature, and she's away, a distance from any people surrounding her, just riding the horse up ahead, and just gallops a little bit further, but not too far since now they're traveling together, but she keeps a lookout.
Can I have you make an animal handling check?
Yes.
This older mare, Petunia, is not used to being ridden, per se, especially not without a saddle, but she's more used to, pulling plows and that sort of thing, but she's responsive to direction. Seems older and doesn't have the spirit to really fight back against that and do her own thing, so she moves on with a prodding pace. You can tell she's a bit more feeble, but being a draft horse, she's still got a decent amount of muscle on her and can easily keep pace and move ahead of the mules. I will also have you make a survival check if you're trying to keep ahead, and those in the cart can make perception checks.
Also, while Acrio's in his cart, the hammer never goes beyond 6 inches from Acrio. While he's driving the cart, he has the hammer tucked into his elbow, just rested up against him as he rides.
Mm-hmm.
Hands on the saddle, hammer never leaves side. Not after the last incident. That never happened.
What happened?
You don't remember?
Pretend Corsiva was a bad memory.
Yeah. Perception.
If you would like to, yes.
Yeah, I'll take a peek.
Take a look.
Get fucked.
Keep him just staring kind of behind the cart.
Ooh.
Good lord. Okay.
The saving!
Everyone's just like drank their cup of coffee and they're like, I see everything.
It's either that or have an awkward conversation, so everyone would rather be looking away.
Well, it's more like, oh shit, so pretty here. Am I gonna die?
Yes,
Yes.
probably.
Exactly.
Making your way over the road through the valley in Stinzia, between the mountain ranges, you've got the Summerwald Forest, primarily evergreen, on the distance far off to the east, which is your right. Scraggly trees, part of the forest coming out to meet you, but the density of it is still far off. While the other side is very flat, low lands. You can see the mountains in the distance, very, very far away, just barely a ridge on the horizon, where that range is where the Ashmouth volcano is located. But it's far enough away you don't have to worry about it. Or at least you assume not. Closer at the foot of those mountains in that kind of low flat land is the Farbog, kind of a swampy marsh area, which you're going to attempt to avoid on your travels, just because people get stuck in that all the time. Best to avoid. You'll keep a very close eye on everything around you, ears open. Amrita, you're keeping watch for game as well as dangers on the road. You still see people in the, far distance, cattlemen with their herds, shepherds occasionally with small flocks. But as you're leaving the radius of the city, even that becomes fewer and further between, more desolate, and just this cloudy expanse of wilderness. That strange late storm has kind of passed, that cold front, and things are warming up. You can feel that it is the springtime. Cillian, of course, is chatting away, continues to tell stories of his travels through Stinzy and through other locations, random tales. And I'm going to roll a d12, and I'm going to have one of you guys roll to see if there are potentially any random encounters. I'm
Oh
gonna
god,
do
who wants
so
to do it?
I don't trust myself.
Physical
I'll do
die.
it. I'll do it.
Yeah, alright, I
Oh,
did it.
okay. Amrita.
Danielle did it.
Oh, sorry.
Cool.
Fear.
That's fine. Okay. On foot, according to kind of the basic map that you have, Acrio, of the course you had planned to take through Corsiva and then up to Silburn around the mountains to avoid the Needle's Eye Pass, where there had been some kind of hazard or creatures, people disappearing without explanation. You've avoided that, taking this path instead. On foot, it was estimated to be about a 4-day march from Corsiva to the first little stop of Gulst. However, if you're riding with mounts or a cart and everything like that, nobody's having to trudge on foot, you can cut that in half. It's going to just be 2 days. Your first, fairly uneventful. The wildlife that you do come across is non-hostile. There are a few ravens that caw overhead. You can see the ever-present birds of prey from the mountains of Stinzia circling in the clouds. But nighttime and dusk approaches. The horses are clearly, or the horse and mule team are clearly tired, and a lot of you feel you probably need to stretch after this leg of journey. But so far haven't encountered anything, well, much of anything really, which is not uncommon for Stinzia. It is one of the least explored areas of Innistrad and the almost most desolate.
Yeah, would there be a nearby cave or enough trees to where we could stop and tie up the mule and horses? Or horse and mules?
Trees for sure. Caves, I mean, it's a very rocky area. It's possible, but you're kind of in the valley, in the lowlands. So it's, I mean, there's definitely rocky hills and such. But you also know caves they can be hit or miss. Sometimes they're fine. Other times there's things that want to eat you in them. So that's up to you if you want to risk it.
That makes sense. Is there a way to navigate through the valley then, just to find a spot where it looks the party will have some kind of cover with the rocks, or not really, since it's a huge valley?
What kind of cover are you talking about? Like from the air, or just kind of a cleft to set up a tent or two?
Probably just kind of like a cleft, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that would be easily doable.
Okay.
And somewhere there's trees for, to tether the horse and the mules to collect some firewood.
Could Asuriel look around for some sprigs of, what was it, juniper?
You're looking for some kind of berries?
Yeah, the berries for good berry.
Sure. Make a nature check as you guys are kind of dismounting and setting up an area to
apparently not good at that.
Hunt for the evening. Despite being the new moon season, you find buds, things that are maybe going to flower soon, but they have not developed into berries yet. So it's, at least in this little grove, there's no sign of anything like that, unfortunately.
Alright, well, no good berries for us tonight.
Rita will start to set up a fire if there's enough wood, since there's so many trees, or see if there's any maybe dead leaves and branches to do that.
Sure. Yeah, there's easily enough to make some kindling, get a little campfire going. That's not going to be a problem at all. You can do that. You've experienced the wilderness long enough that you know exactly where to look.
Yeah, she just focuses on doing that, making one big enough in the middle between the cart and where she's placed with the horse, and for all the others to sit around and everything when night falls.
Well, taking care of the mules, Asuriel's also going to sneak pat the horse.
Make a stealth check.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'll say that's enough to, as you're just, putting some feed bags on the mules, just kind of reach out, stroke Petunia real quick.
I was about to say, that's funny, because that's my passive wisdom, but Amrita just huffs.
Lorelei's just gonna pace the perimeter. Lorelei's just gonna pace the perimeter. Just ambling.
How does Lorelei feel being back in the wilderness?
She's not enjoying it. She's quite visibly anxious, and it feels very strange, and she almost forgets that there are other people around, and she seems to revert back to this kind of not quite feral state, but definitely more the kind of state that she was in when she first met Amrita and the others, very on edge, even more so than usual.
So she's gonna follow with her eyes to watch Lorelei pace, doesn't say anything though.
Acrio's setting up tent.
Yeah.
By this point, I would imagine when he's doing that, Amrita gets the fire to lit, and she just sits back by the tree right near Petunia.
You guys have supplies. You would all get regenerate one of your hit die if you need to roll that potentially during a short rest, but you're not setting watches or anything, I assume. We'll just not worry about that, right?
No.
That's a trick question. That's bait. That's fucking bait.
No, we don't need set watches. All right,
That
everybody
is
go to sleep.
fucking bait, good sir.
Okay, so we get 1 hit die. What does this mean?
Every day
But
we
that-
regenerate
that-
a hit die.
Yeah, but that will be after, you survive the night. So yeah, in that case, what is going to be the watch regimen for the evening?
I'll take second watch.
Out of 3.
However you want to do it.
I think 3 watches would be pretty good. Like 2,
Yeah,
1, 2,
Amrita will
maybe?
take Amrita will take the last one.
I'll go first.
I'll take up the second just because midnight. Everybody's always pissy.
But I already took.
Yeah. Congrats. There
I
could be
mean-
2 people.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Cillian will definitely first or last. We'll see.
Do it.
Oh god.
It's gotta be
Come
them,
on.
Rita.
Come on.
And we'll see. 1 is first, 2nd is last.
Yes.
This sucks because Stein is not here for this.
He's not
He
even
would-
here and he's still
he-
causing problems.
He would automatically choose second. That die
Probably.
had Stein's interests in mind.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was manipulating the die from afar.
we must tell him this.
He'll find out, yes. So yeah. Eventually everyone can settle in. Lorelei taking the first evening watch, still on edge, too jumpy to sleep. Everyone
Yeah,
else
that's why she took the
tries
first one. She's like, I'm just gonna get all this nervous energy out of my system and then maybe I can sleep.
Mm-hmm. So, can I have you roll me a d12, please?
Oh boy. Yay! Lucky number!
Mm-hmm. What's going through her head as everyone else is laying down to sleep and through the hours that she has to spend by herself? She were jotting down things in her journal.
Yeah, she's frantically journaling, as deranged and unhinged as her journal entries usually are. Probably even more so than usual. They'd kind of found some structure when she was in Corsica, and now it's just back to complete word vomit, stream of consciousness. And when she's not doodling in her journal, she's just pacing back and forth. She almost feels like she shouldn't stop moving. Whenever she stops moving, that might put her at risk, and she just has to just keep moving, just keep moving.
Whether or not it's due to your paranoia or simple luck throughout the hours that you stay up, you keep moving and listening. Nothing seems to encroach on the encampment during your time. There's still sounds of wildlife, things like nocturnal birds, frogs that begin to croak as they're coming back out for the warmer months of the year. Occasional twig somewhere breaks, leaves rustle, and you immediately tense, but nothing comes of it.
At the end of it, full of cortisol and adrenaline, she just pretty much slaps next watch up. I forget who it was. Was it Acrio and Asuriel? Gently smacks him awake.
Just, oh wait, I can't take long rests in heavy armor, or even rest.
Yeah, no, you would have had to. He's out of his armor, so you're gonna have to put that all back on for your watch if you want to.
Clink, clank.
No, Acrio
That's up to you.
isn't. But while he's sleeping, his shield is over his body, and his
Blanket.
hammer is right next to him, and then the armor's 2 feet away.
Mhm.
all
Perfectly
neatly-
laid out for optimum.
Yeah, not that he's gonna be
Yes.
able to put it on. It takes 10 minutes, but he
That's
is.
up to you.
He that shield, even as he wakes up, his hands are tightly grasped upon it.
Nice.
like white knuckling the edges of it while he sleeps.
Act like he's had bad experiences out in the wilderness of Stinsia or something.
Well, he does travel alone usually.
But it's kind of interesting because as you and Asuriel begin to take watch, it's somewhat reminiscent of your few days travel together toward Korsava. With the others asleep, it's kind of similar in a way.
Just gonna settle on the edge and look around.
Now, what are your rules on portions of armor? Oh, no, it's not plate. I don't have plate armor. If it was plate armor,
it's splint.
I could throw on just the breastplate, and that would count as a breastplate.
Potentially, sure.
I don't know how that works, because there's other categories of armor that are
that
pieces
full plate, half plate, breastplate. That's all kind of just smaller chunks of the bigger armor. But splint is not designed the same way.
Exactly. That's a whole suit that you have to throw on. Yeah, so I'm just unarmored, shield, mace, or hammer in hand, sitting on the cart, kind of keeping watch.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally watching Asuriel to make sure she doesn't wander off.
I am a baby.
Make sure she doesn't strip naked again.
No.
I mean, toddlers do that.
Oh my god.
Yes, but no.
Can you channel divinity a toddler harness for her?
What's Asuriel thinking as she's kind of reminded of her first memories, kind of that deja vu sense of sitting up in the wilderness with Acrio nearby, kind of the first thing that you can even recall as far back as your memory reaches, which is like a week and a half.
She's just wondering if she's gonna find answers where they're going. Because that lady in the caravan, she said she was gonna find out, but how long's that gonna take? And would the rest of the party be mad or something when they find out? Because it's definitely something weird that happened to her, and she doesn't know if she was a good person in her previous state.
As you're pondering that, go ahead and roll a d12.
Hi.
Oh no. Oh no, Salty.
Come on.
Fear.
Oh boy.
We don't know if that's bad or good.
Fear.
Exactly, that's why I rolled the physical die, so only I know.
Asshole.
So I need Asuriel and Acrio to both make perception checks, if you would please.
Oh no.
I'm not feeling that one. Yeah.
Why can you roll
no.
well to summon the creature, but not to spot it, Salty?
Shut up.
Oh lord.
Oh, we're in for it now, lads.
Or angels in this case. Ah.
In the
We're fucked.
midst of your watch, both of you trying to stay attentive. It's weird having gotten a few hours of sleep now, back up, and cooler breeze in the evening, trying to rub your arms, keep warm. There's a faint scratching sound. You're not exactly sure what that was. Both of you kind of hear that, but that's it. Puts you on edge slightly, but after a moment, there's nothing. Until suddenly there is this screeching, cat-like wail that, Acrio, as a local, you recognize as being a puma, one of the mountain lions of Stinsia. Just kind of like shriek, you whip your head on the cart and you catch its eyes reflecting in the firelight. It's kind of mangy furred and you think possibly has gone a bit rabid, maybe, as it is on top of one of the rocks in this cleft, its claws almost digging into the stone as it suddenly like leaps and pounces in Asuriel's direction.
They always go for the easy one.
Leaping down off of this larger boulder that you've kind of made the camp in the cleft. Asuriel, you saw Acrio kind of turn, just barely even aware of what he has spotted out of the corner of his eye, just kind of that flash of movement in the flicker of this firelight. When you suddenly feel this intense heat and pain raking down your back, you're going to take 14 points of slashing damage. And I need you to make a strength saving throw, please.
Strong, no strong, very not strong.
This feral mountain lion hits you in the back, clawing, and you fall prone, and because of its pounce, it will make a bite attack as a bonus action.
Hi.
I will use... I want to burn spells, but I don't want her to get knocked down. I'm going to use Sigarda's Ever-Watchful Eye, because I have that. And hopefully
Does that
I
count?
roll
I think that only counts on saving throws. Oh, are you trying to do that for her prone one?
for a strength save, because...
I mean, honestly, just let it bite. Let it bite.
Okay.
Just, yeah, let's go.
My healing's more effective if she's unconscious. It's fine.
Your healing's a lot more effective if you're conscious.
Face down, you hit the rocky ground, just that little bit of sprouts of grass barely cushioning your fall at all, as you feel teeth bite into partially the collar around your neck. For once you're a bit relieved that is there, because the shoulder blade takes the brunt of the teeth as it begins pulling at your flesh.
I'm in single digits.
Oh, you're still up?
Yeah, I'm still up somehow.
Wow.
Damn.
But also face down on the ground.
Yeah,
so yeah, I'm gonna say, yep.
I wouldn't be able to cast Gleam as a bonus action to try and get it to fuck off.
Isn't that only when you're grappled?
Sorry, reaction. Yeah, it's only when I'm grappled, but...
Yeah, and you're not. You're just prone on the ground.
Yeah.
So Acrio, you're the first to react to all of that. She's about 20 feet away as you're sitting on the back of the cart.
I don't want her to die. So I'll cast Sanctuary on her as a bonus action.
Is there a range on that, or is that touch?
30
feet? Okay. Gotcha.
Not
All right.
concentration. Just to hold my shield out. Now she feels a little more protected. And then I'll run up and just fucking try and smash it into the ground.
With a streak of fire trailing behind your hammer, you collide into the side of this mountain lion. You feel the bone crack as it makes impact with this thing's spine. It's probably fractured, but it rolls and digs its claws into the earth, shoulder blades protruding up as these wild eyes stare at you, and its teeth flare with a screech.
And then I'll just use whatever 10 feet of movement to kind of bashing my shield move in front of her. Even though I don't have armor either.
Sure,
I have a shield.
but just interposing yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
Asuriel.
Gonna get up and cast Mind Sliver on it. So it's intelligence.
Just so you know, if the warded creature makes an attack or casts a spell that affects an enemy creature, the sanctuary will end. So
Yeah, maybe just.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
Don't
first of all, I
die.
will get up, get as far away from it as I can, without disengaging.
Yeah, so it
Go
I'll
wake
say it's
everybody
kind of
else up.
knocked away slightly by this massive hammer, so you can kind of stumble and get out of its immediate area. You can only get about 15 feet away, but kind of with a lot of difficulty.
He's gonna shout for everyone to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very angry cat. And then I'm gonna
In
cast
that
my
case, okay.
I'll remember that for the future.
Look, it
guess.
helps
Will be
me
missed.
not get attacked.
Oh, did
it would it would continue
help
to help
a-
you not get attacked
God.
if you
If
left
you
it up.
didn't use Mind Sliver for 1d4 damage.
Yes, but now I'm away from it, and hopefully there's
Mm-hmm. Yes, cool. Intelligence save.
Yep. Bruh.
Yep.
I had a -4 too.
Yeah, let me.
You do hear Asuriel scream. It obviously wakes everyone up from what slumber they had found. It's a bit disorienting, and it'll take a bit to determine what is even going on, but you are able to awaken.
Like next round we'll be able to act. Is it kind of like a surprisey wake up round?
Pretty much, yeah, because you're disoriented, so you can
It's like,
kind of
what year
start to
is
see
it?
stuff happening, but so you can add yourself to initiative on this turn. You just will not act quite yet. Does Cillian? Boom. Yeah, okay. Cillian, Amrita both awaken. Suddenly, with screams. Nobody's wearing armor, obviously, at this time, so you've got shields handy if you need to equip them. That is an action to do, so that's up to you. Acrio, can I have you make an opportunity attack as this thing is going to try to rush past you?
Oh my god.
Yeah, huh?
Shut up.
Asuriel,
Shut the fuck up.
That's weird.
Oh my gosh, where's my chips when I need them?
Where's the popcorn, honey? I need it.
You're able to kind of underhand swing it, clip it in the back leg as it is bolting past you, trying to make an escape with as much easy prey as it can. Does that miss, actually?
Motherfucker!
You have a -1 to Dex.
I know! I have +1, but since I'm way past bloodied, I went from 11 to 9.
Yes, the bloodied target stumbling away from this creature. Back turned,
Fucking damn it, Asuriel.
unable to defend herself.
I'm down.
I'm gonna. I'd say I'm gonna kill you, but the panther
You
already
don't have
took care of that. Or the puma already did that.
So with a claw to the back of your legs, as it's pouncing, it believes it has knocked you prone, but that's just because you couldn't stay upright if you wanted to. Its teeth start to dig into you, and as all of you are awakening, you start to see it just begin to drag Asuriel away from this encampment. Lorelei's just woken up, so she can't do anything. Acrio. It's about 15 feet away from you.
I run up and try and beat it into the ground again.
Mm-hmm.
Please die.
This thing is wild and taking these blows, not as if it's resistant, but it's a little too feral, possibly starving, to pay too much attention. It needs to feed, and it's just shaking them off, turning and snarling at you with its teeth still full of Asuriel's flesh and her robes as it's trying to pull her away. Asuriel, you can please make a death saving throw. That is a success. Cillian is going to just, in a flustered daze, hop up, kind of duck behind the cart, and fling a needle at this thing, because he does not want to get close to it, despite wanting to help Asuriel. That is enough to hit.
What are you looking at? How big is your screen? Like, I see you looking up to go...
This big.
Really? Holy shit.
Well, I'm also kind of close to it, but
yeah, it's like you look down.
it's like a 27-inch screen.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like
I
an
see
IMAX,
you
it's
like
pretty big.
look up
Yeah.
at something, and I'm like, what the hell are you looking at? Where is this stat block?
That is enough to make this creature bloodied.
That
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a lot of HP.
Just going for one of the heavily bruised areas where Acrio had smashed into this creature, into its matted fur. The needle doesn't seem to do an excessive amount of damage itself, but due to the fact that it's so precisely positioned, there's a splurt of blood across Asuriel's body as she is beginning to be dragged away. And Amrita.
Yeah, and the day is just like, what the actual fuck? And then she looks and she's like, and sees as she's getting dragged away, how far away is this puma?
Depends on how far you want to be away from it, because you're waking up. So it's wherever you think you would have been sleeping in relation to it. So it's up to you.
Do you like everybody?
I feel like she'd probably be 30 feet maybe in my mind.
Sure.
I'm trying to just think mentally here,
Sure.
just so I can gauge the distance. Yeah, she is going to run over and swipe at it with her saber.
Okay. Just quickly grabbing this older blade stolen from a mantelpiece, whipping it out of its scabbard. Go ahead and make an attack. That will hit. Yes, Puma will disengage, just trying to roll and duck under some of these blades and hammers that are coming down on it, but then continue to drag 20 feet away Asuriel's body.
I'm gonna end up like original Asuriel.
And that is what you awaken to, Lorelei, as you kind of get your bearings. You just see this large feral cat dragging Asuriel's white cloaked body, stained with red now,
Okay, she is going
easily
to...
40 to 45 feet away from you now that she has moved.
Okay. In that case, I will kind of scramble to my feet and get within like 30 feet of it, which I imagine I can do even though I'm standing up. I can just get within 30 feet of it, that's all I need. And she'll just like scoop like her hand and like send the shadows from underneath her sweeping towards it as I cast Hinder on the puma to try and limit its movement. Strength saving throw will have its movement speed halved to the end of its next turn.
Nice. Okay. It is a strong thing, even in the
Strong
darkness.
boy.
These shadows cannot clutch at it well enough.
Oh, I didn't even consider if it was larger than medium. I forgot about that.
No, it's medium, but it's
Okay,
just a
okay.
big creature. Big cat.
Bonus action. Yeah, I will. All I can do is spare the dying on Asuriel and just hold on there.
She's unaware of this sparedness that has come upon her, but Acrio.
I'm not doing it for her mental health, so she can be as aware of it as she has to be.
Actually, Scorching Ray is at dawn. It regenerates, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just use all my Scorching Ray on it. Because I haven't
Alrighty.
actually... No, I've used it. No,
You used it a
I
couple
want
times.
Yeah, I want it to die. So I'll Scorching Ray it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pow.
Fucking die.
22.
2 spicy damage.
leveling the hammer. That crystal blue gem that hovers above the top of the symbol of Avacyn worked into it, burst into flame, and the motes of fire shoot out from that across this small rocky plain and singe, burning this thing. Puma shrieks, just very close to being dead, considering whether or not it should just break for it. But still slightly alive. Asuriel, you do not need to make any more saving throws. You feel fine.
As fine as you can be.
I am fine.
Yeah, Cillian will throw a needle, but he doesn't have any conscious creatures near it, so he's not helping. He would like to help, but he's not. He can't see in the dark, so as you've gotten further away from the campfire, it's just impossible to get a proper bead on this thing. Even the bursts of fire coming off of it, they kind of blind him in the darkness ever so slightly. Amrita.
We tried. Let her go.
yeah, it's like, this isn't going well. Hey,
Forget about it!
forget about it.
She's 20 feet away from you. Just FYI.
Forget about it.
Alright, yep, she is going to run up to it and stab.
Slashing with a saber.
Yep.
Very close. You nearly cut one of this legs off of this creature.
Just try to antagonize it to come after her.
Okay.
The healthy giant attack her.
Yeah, I
Not
don't
that
know
healthy,
that.
but you know, no.
Not a dead corpse.
That would
though.
probably require a like performance or even intimidation check. But I would say that's going to need to be an action. So
Yeah, and I already used my action.
I mean, it's definitely wary of you, but not necessarily.
Yeah, it's not going
thinking
to
of
come
you as
for
prey.
me. Yeah.
Being desperate, it is just going to latch its teeth back into Asuriel with disadvantage. So we'll see what it can do. Or actually, it has a regular because you are unconscious. So
But it's
canceled
still
out.
desperate, so that's going to be a crit if it hits, isn't it?
Oh fuck, she's dead.
For my reaction on this, Amrita
yeah.
can she use the blood curse of the eyeless? I don't know if that would help though.
That lets you reduce the attack, I believe.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
got
a
a
slim
nine.
chance.
Unless you can
You'd
reduce
have-
it by
You'd
12.
you have to get it down to 9, which I don't think
Hmm.
is possible, unfortunately, with that.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, I always forget that.
You have one failed, or you had one succeeded death save. This is going to be 2 failures.
Yeah.
But I double check. I don't think you're going to have any major injuries or anything due to this from the critical chart anyway.
I'll be right back.
It's a horrible looking wound to Amrita, but nothing that's going to immediately kill her. But Asuriel looks very, very bad. And continues to be dragged away, which actually will provoke an attack of opportunity from the person who just left.
All right,
Okay.
off attack, you say.
Opportunity
Yes.
attack, yes.
All right,
Destroy!
kill, maim, stab.
Stab!
Kill it.
Kill it!
Please.
Oh, I forgot to roll the
Get
damage.
4
I'm like, yeah.
4 more damage, yes.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
How would you like to finish it?
Grinning her teeth, and a few times she almost considers going into her wolf form for this, but also at the same time it just seems rather a travail to do that. And she's like, and slices the puma through its neck. Some of the puma's blood will probably get on Asuriel, but as long as she's able to kind of get it off, like cut it off near the throat and its mouth
Mhm.
area, so the fangs are no longer in her body.
Yeah, swing, swift weapon just severing its jaw on one side. It goes limp, falling off of her, trying to begin dragging itself away, but it's losing so much blood that you can see it eventually slump down a few feet away from you. It doesn't die immediately, but bleeds out within a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
While
Amrita
Asuriel,
will- Oh, sorry.
I need you to roll 2d10 plus 2. Okay. Noted. What are you guys doing as combat ends and one of your friends is probably not also totally dead?
Lorelei just runs for it. She just runs for her.
Yeah.
Amrita
I'll show
quickly picks her up and tries to meet them halfway and hand her over here. It's like, better take care of it bad. This bite
Break
is not
her-
going to be good.
Snaps her back over her knee.
Yeah, like, don't pick up the knife. No, it's fine.
She's fine.
Yeah,
Fine.
Amrita knows how to handle it.
Rita knows. She's a hunter.
Yeah, she knows how to handle
bitches.
this injured person.
Yeah, she
I'm
just
being a
gently gives him
shitfish.
over.
Mhm.
Yeah, anyways, quit being a shitfish so I can focus.
Yeah, Lorelei
Yeah.
will immediately run over and cast a Cure Wounds on Asuriel to bring her back to 12 immediately.
So we just kind of gets like, that was the worst cat I've ever met. I don't think I've ever cat.
Puma, not a cat. Well, doesn't matter.
How?
Hardly a house cat.
What happened to it? It was really fast.
Dead.
They're just like that. They are just that fast, especially when they're hungry.
You look over, of course, like, that cat. You're like touching the back, touching her back where she got scratched.
Lorelei like grabs her
You
wrist, like
scream.
don't touch it, don't touch it. You might make it worse.
Oh.
Acrio's standing off to the side with his arms crossed.
Thanks for helping me. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you're okay. Thank Avacyn that you are. You very, very nearly died there.
Oh, that's good to know.
Next time, when something rakes you and nearly kills you, and I jump in the way and cast something on you to make you a lot safer, don't attack it, please.
Sorry, I didn't think it'd come after me like that.
Wild animals just try and go for whatever's the easiest to kill, and that just so happened to be you.
Asuriel remembers her last 4 combats. Both the spiders, cat, vampire.
You know the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
It's doing
Rita's
the same
gonna go
thing over and
over-
over again.
Yeah, Amrita's gonna go over and look at the puma. And is there a way to, look over the meat or the skin of the puma to see if there might be something salvageable from it?
Sure. Make a nature check, please. Cillian will probably come up to Asuriel, make sure she's
Hey,
doing well, best as he can as well, kind of offering to stitch up your clothes. He's can't do anything about your flesh, but
Yeah, it's nice to have my clothes fixed because I think they've been ripped to shit.
pretty much, yeah. Amrita, it's very obvious to you this puma has gone somewhat feral, possibly on the cusp of rabies. You might have to take a look at that because it did bite Asuriel a few times. The pelt is mangy. It's not really worth salvaging. You could probably harvest some of the meat from the areas where the bones haven't been broken and damaged it incredibly with a bunch of internal bleeding. But so there is harvestable material from it, but for the most part, it seems sickly and gaunt. So there's not much.
If that's the case, she'll probably try to drag the body further out or throw it away. Need to burn this. Be back in a second. Might want to look that over. She could have rabies.
What?
Burn?
What?
This thing is mangy. It clearly, obviously had some kind of rabies. So you may want to look further into that bite. It's not that bad, but it could be with the rabies.
Shit. Yeah, I'll take a look. Turn around to Asuriel. I'll have a look. And I will just start, like, examining her bite and any wounds just to see if there's anything I can tell that would indicate disease.
I'm gonna cast guidance on that if it's a roll.
Sure, it will be a medicine check, yeah.
Yeah.
You can add a d4 to that if you want, but...
Yeah.
I will do. I thought
Just for
Salty
the
was going to
shits and
roll it.
giggles.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
for the shits and giggles.
Well, I'm glad you rolled it because Salty.
Yeah.
Yay!
You needed a guidance roller. So the teeth marks are pretty bad. The claw marks have torn her up quite a bit as you kind of removed the cloak. Yeah, removed the clothing from her back. Looking at it, it's your cure wounds, that magical spell that to seal up the wounds has scarred over some of them. She's still pretty bad off, and some of them are still bleeding. You have to bandage them up. It's hard to tell because the wounds aren't open for the most part if there was any kind of disease or infection that had gotten into the flesh before it was sealed. That's one of the downsides of magical healing. It's so instant that there's no evidence much.
Taped right over the crack.
You would suspect, hopefully not. You've got a good indication that probably not. There might be some internal injuries, but hard to say on that. But as far as disease, you don't see any evidence initially.
I think you'll be okay. Just keep me posted if you feel weird. Okay, Asuriel? Just anything at all. Just tell me.
Yeah, I will. I think I should sleep now, though.
Definitely.
Amrita, you pull the carcass a good ways off, knowing that any carrion eaters that might make their way through here will be attracted to the smell of the rot once it sets in, and there's a good chance they'll leave you alone, going more for the easy prey, which can be scavenged. So as you're beginning your watch with Cillian, who's oddly silent after that stunning awakening, you're fairly confident that should be clear, but it doesn't dampen your vigilance.
And she makes sure her bandana is off and the eye can peer around too while being on her watch. Not really saying anything either, just focused.
Okay. You can make a perception check with advantage. Cillian sits up with his sewing kit, kind of laying out Asuriel's new cloak that she just purchased, and her shirt as she's kind of like covered herself with basic undergarments to try to sleep off and not rustle the bandages too much from the few wounds that were open. He begins stitching and spends the next few hours doing that, chatting occasionally, but he definitely gets the vibe that you're not in a talkative mood, especially not this hour. That eye in the center of your forehead probing the horizon, and your own eyes accustomed to the darkness, as well as your ears and that heightened sense of smell. You think possibly some coyotes or something make their way toward the carcass. It's so far off no one else could detect it, but you can hear the tearing of flesh with your ears and distant yips that they make in communicating. but none of them make their way your direction. They seem to have had their feast for the night, and dawn begins to approach. How do Asuriel, Acrio, and Lorelei find sleep after that incident?
Cyril kind of drops on whatever she was sleeping, and she's in pain, but she's also fucking tired. So it doesn't take her too long to go to sleep.
Lorelei achieves full cocoon in her cloak.
Probably put Asuriel in the tent while her clothes are being mended, covered up. You have to lay on your stomach to avoid chafing the few remaining wounds that have not been sealed over with Lorelei's magic. But
Pass up, just like
pass
Morgan.
out real quick.
Sorry.
What about Acrio?
Back to his corner shield pose, where he's got the shield over him, legs tucked in, head kind of with the helmet still on. So like a turtle hiding under the shield with just the head popping out, and it's like the entire night is wake up at the slightest sound, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up.
I imagine snoring from the inside of a helmet fucking echoes.
Well, luckily he doesn't snore. I feel like
More in your
snoring
own
people
ears.
don't live long in Innistrad, because like that's what it.
Maybe
just
not
get
in
your
the
position.
wilderness.
Yeah.
If you snore, you have to start a community because you'll die otherwise.
Hmm.
Our snore fathers.
You snore,
And I'm
you
guessing-
lose.
It takes a decent amount of time for Acrio to actually fall asleep again, just because so much going through his head about how that could have been different.
Hmm.
The fact that he saw it without any time to react, the fact that Asuriel didn't understand the magic he was trying to use, just the wilds of Stensia being as vicious as they are, like going through the Cathar training that he had been imbued with, trying to determine a battle plan for future incidents that he needs to try to convey to everyone else.
Hmm.
And probably a realization that while he fought with Cathars kind of in a training situation and there was some coordination, how discoordinated a group of somewhat strangers can
is.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how dangerous that is, really.
It's like you got injured, you fall to the back line, you're protected now. And he's that Cathar falls back and does the thing. Oh god.
Like within Kosovo, it probably wasn't as dangerous. We could kind of get away with not having as much tactical prowess, but now we're out in the wilderness where everything can and will kill us. It's now the holes in our tactics are showing.
Lorelei,
Yes.
can I have you make a perception check real quick?
Hog.
In your
Hog
cocoon
section.
of slumber. So, yeah, you've kind of like wrapped up yourself in these blankets that you've procured in your supplies for the trip. More than you remember having in the last few times you're in the forest, and it's like you're on the verge of nodding off when suddenly you realize, and you don't know how long it's been like this, that your hands are still wet.
With blood?
Do you look at them?
Yes.
That would be your first thought. Would be like, oh shit, Asuriel's blood that I got all over my hands when checking her
Yeah,
out.
I was like,
Yeah,
oh
look at
fuck,
them and
I forgot to clean up. Look.
And you see your hands. Like, it's difficult because all you're going by is like very, very dim light, but just kind of that vague sense of shininess, and it's the smell that hits you first.
Quickly, I'll like retreat into my blanket cocoon and cast light under it, just so I don't like shine a beacon in the night and wake everyone up, and just like check like how bad it is.
As you shine that beacon, trying to hide it, yeah, you see your hands covered in blood, but you also notice, looking around you, there is no tent and there is nobody else around you.
Oh no.
You are alone in the wilderness.
Oh no! She immediately just like starts hyperventilating, and she'll like reach around for some grass to try and wipe her hands. Just frantically like, no.
You wipe your hands, you're still looking around trying to see anyone. There's nothing around you. It's open expanse, not even any trees. It's barren. And then you start to hear a shuffling over gravel.
Do I get like a direction? Is it like in one specific direction or just like all around me?
It's one specific direction.
Just gonna turn directly to it, like one hand up.
With the light that you have cast, you spin and you see Asuriel dragging herself on her stomach, her face just rotted in, one eye completely gone, as she is some kind of undead thing moving toward you. And as you see that, you snap awake. And it is light around you, probably dawn, as you feel that moisture that's kind of settled in, the dew on your cocoon of blankets. And looking around, there is the tent. There's Amrita getting up, starting to make ready for the trip.
I know. I would know if they put the cereal in the tent, right? I'm gonna go check on her. And she's also gonna have the moon silver flail like dangling behind her.
Just dragging in the gravel.
Yeah, just not like ready to swing, but like I've got it on lock.
What does that look like to Acrio and Amrita as you see Lorelei suddenly start scrambling toward the tent with a weapon drawn?
Yeah.
Just like poking the fire that Amrita's starting to get up, looking over nervously at Lorelei, who looks very intent on where they're going.
I wouldn't say she looks that intent. It's kind of more like cautionary, like slow.
Like she's entering a room that might have terrorists in it, and she's going to slaughter whoever's
Pretty
in there.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
Like riot police, like slowly.
Yeah, like
Slowest
hammer
step,
up,
fast.
kicks in the door, enters
FBI,
the
open up!
Yeah, Amrita has these gloves now she's been wearing the whole trip. They're kind of black and brown. They match the rest of her attire and everything. And she looks over and just narrows her eyes at that weapon she knows is silver, but like stares at the tent where Asuriel is. What are you trying to do? Stare the death out of someone that nearly died?
It stops. Looks over. I'm just checking on her.
Amrita stares at the weapon and stares at Lorelei.
Kind of copies Amrita's gaze, where like as she says that, both of them look at the weapon.
Yeah.
Lorelei also like looks down, and it's like she kind of just realizes that she's holding it. Like, right. I'm a little on edge. Sorry. I just wanted to check on her. She loosens her grip on it.
Nervously, or well, not nervously, but get up and follow in suit behind Lorelei, just for some company to check on Asuriel.
Cillian is like laid out with Asuriel's cloak over him as a blanket, as it's like mostly sewn together. The stitches aren't perfect, but they're passable, and there's very little work left. You can see his hands kind of like clutching the edge of it. His fingers are like worked raw with the needle. He's spent most of the night working on that through his watch.
I feel like an asshole.
And Lorelei, you push back the edge of the tent, and Asuriel appears to be sleeping soundly. You can see the motion of her heaving. It's a little bit labored. You can hear her breath as if there's some kind of lingering pain there, but she looks alive.
Still with her back to Acrio, and I don't know if you even noticed this, her eyes will flash black and she will just eyes of the grave, just for her own peace of mind, because that scared the shit out of her. And just
the only
search for any
senses you
undead.
get are those that seem to constantly linger around Cillian himself, but nothing in the tent or in the immediate vicinity.
Okay. She tucks the flail away and like leans in and just gently like pats Asuriel like on the leg or something, like, hey, Asuriel,
Huh? Yes?
how you feeling?
Good, not good. It hurts, but I can get up and do things.
That's good. That's good. And kind of stiffly, Lorelei turns away and just leaves. She just walks away.
You can all complete a short rest if you have. You would have gotten the 1 hit die if you need to spend it, or additional if you still have them.
Yeah, I think
Okay. So we get 1 back and we can spend that 1 as well.
At the same time, at the end of a short
Okay.
rest, Yeah, you all can heal everything that's necessary through the night with supplies that you have. Nobody has a supply level of 1 or lower, right? Just to make sure.
Pretty sure we wouldn't have left with that.
Cool.
Yeah, I should
Do
still
I-
be good. Question. So, would there
Mhm.
have been anything? Would there be any natural plant or something in nature that Amrita would know someone could utilize in case they may or may not have rabies, or to help with it, to counter it, maybe?
I think that would probably be an herbalism situation. You would
That
have to be
makes sense.
proficient with an herbalism kit to, like, you.
I could ask you what
You've
herbalism,
lived
right?
in the wild, but your experience has been more predatory, shall we say?
Thanks. Yeah, and might have more alchemy means and
Yeah,
stuff.
your
So,
training
yeah,
has-
I'm just
yeah.
going to. I'm just going to prepare to go for the journey then.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you guys need to do in the early mornings for preparation, any crafting or any stuff like that you would like to do or can afford?
No.
Yeah,
Just
they
to
get
check.
all the fancy weird shit. I just get armor, weapons, and all that cool shit.
Oh wait,
Mhm.
yeah. Before.
Oh,
we
I can
travel-
also make stone blocks. with
Oh,
my
Minecraft
skills.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a way before we continue further that Amrita can finally look through the notebook for tips on memories and stuff like that she took from Dr. Engel's corpse?
You can peruse his journal. Yeah. I mean, it's a little difficult when you're writing, but you can do it. I would say you won't be able to make like a survival check or anything because you have to be focused on that, and also steering with no reins. So
Yeah,
it's
fair
doable,
enough.
but you almost might have to take up the rear so that the horse kind of just follows the cart rather than trying to be ahead of everyone else and also reading this book. But if you want to take up a position so that you're focused on that and letting the horse kind of meander after the cart, that's fine. That's doable.
Yeah, just so she doesn't wear out the older horse too much.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure Acrio takes the time to re-don his armor before heading out on the road.
Just like put the helmet on, strap it on tight, shields on while I'm riding now.
And Lorelei will approach Acrio at some point and just kind of ask him, like, so you wouldn't be opposed to, helping me figure out some more like angelic magic, would you? You seem a bit better with it than I do.
Turns his head. Well, What's got you interested in angelic magic? Little intrigued now, leaning towards her.
Well, I just want to help, and if we're out here, then I want to have a little more, a more punch.
All right. Well, all right. Next time we stop, I'll show you a few things. It's pretty much the same thing. You got the gist of it with your whatever you do with your. What do you use as a?
Toll the dead?
No.
He's talking about your symbol of Avacyn with the flight alabaster
Right.
kind of crescent moon.
Yeah.
It is a holy symbol. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much got the gist of it.
Well, I just
a bit
you have
more...
a lot of like burning stuff,
Yeah.
and I kind of want to be able to burn stuff a little bit. Starting to realize a lot of my magic is a little on the more like kill them from within side. And I'm realizing that's not always as helpful.
Oh, the first step is always not doing it for the violence, it's for the protection of others.
Well, that's
You
exactly
can
why
always
I want to do it.
With this book, and he pulls out the book of Avacyn from his hip and he holds it out to her. And it's like, you can start reading this.
Slowly takes it, looks at it. I didn't know you carried a book.
Well, there are very few things that I carry that I have to read because I'm not very good at reading. But they require us to carry the book so that the word of Avacyn is always nearby.
I'm not much of a book learner, so just slowly passes it back.
Oh, okay. I'll teach you to burn stuff really well.
I prefer to learn through the feeling of it rather than the verbal doctrine. That's how I've learned everything. It's how I've learned everything I can do is just sitting in the woods and practicing on myself.
Why are you practicing at wood?
When you need a living target and there's only one living target around, you make do.
Oh, well, they're squirrels. We'll use the squirrels.
That's more fucked up than what I just said.
Uh-huh.
Get in the cart.
I'm already riding. I'm actively riding.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Shut up then. Keep your eyes on the road.
Cast Bane on a group of squirrels and they just start to like roll over and twitch.
Oh my gosh.
I just cast Bane in a pond and just...
I don't know, maybe they'll be a little more holy by the end of it.
No.
Amrita, you're not paying attention to this conversation at all. 20 feet or so back from the cart, just letting Petunia wander in the direction that everyone else is going, keeping an eye out that she doesn't stray, but for the most part trying to flip through this journal. It's difficult to make out the handwriting because it is very quick and some of it is shorthand and it's a doctor's handwriting. So can I have you make an intelligence check, please, to decipher?
Read the doctor's handwriting.
Sorry, that was not supposed to be advantage. I'm sad.
Even still, well, the first roll's a natural 20, so regardless, after you kind of get a feeling for the scrawl and the way the handwriting is, makes it a lot easier to kind of flow through. You don't find any like methodology. There's no written means of doing things. He didn't take notes on how he does his procedures. It's more notes on everybody that he's met. You find his notations on possible theories for what caused your physical change during the hypnosis, the notes on anything that could cause fingernails to grow. Werewolf is among them, but it's not the first. He has like witch magic and some kind of mutation related to the eye as his primary theories on it. You see notations on Lorelei displaying evidence of paranoia, as well as Acrio seemingly, he's just got middle child syndrome ? Jotted down.
I was the favorite child. Well, actually, no, I was the hated child. So yes, middle child syndrome.
In his mind, he was, yes.
All right, what about Cillian and Asuriel?
Cillian, he has notes of possible narcissistic tendencies. Asuriel's a question mark. It's mostly reasons for amnesia that he's noted down, trauma, and more questions than anything else.
But there any like heart drawings next to Cillian's name?
No, he's not a dude.
Possible narcissism, really cute butt.
Oh man, she snorts at the one with the when it says narcissism on Cillian. It's like, sounds about right.
I can just imagine Cillian looking around like, "Hey, you sneaking through his diary? Can I take a peek?" Does he talk
Too
about
bad
me?
he's not here and doesn't know I
And
have
he doesn't
it.
know. Yeah, he doesn't know whose book that is. He probably would be like glancing back at you, trying to determine what you're reading, but can't really, because it's not marked as like the doctor's journal written on the cover or anything crazy like that. It's just a small little
Is every
notebook.
entry Dear Diary?
Yes. So as you kind of go through this, it's a bit disappointing that there's no additional means to explore. You do find on yourself, Amrita, he would have notations, especially after meeting Asuriel, in the differences between amnesia versus repressed memories. Amnesia being usually the result of physical, like blunt force trauma on their head, and that sort of thing that seems to shut off pathways to memories. Motor memories and those sort of things are all still intact and instinct, but the place in the brain where experienced memories seems to be cut off. Whereas with your instance, it seems to be more like you, or he doesn't necessarily know, something else in your brain seems to have pushed certain memories away.
Amrita ponders all of this, thinking, and scratches a little bit above where the third eye is at. Whatever part of her forehead is still just hair, with a little bit of hair, just thinking. I'm going to have to try something. Let me stop. Damn it.
Around lunch, high noon, you come upon a small grove of trees, a glade a ways off from the Sumberwald, but those same, like, primarily evergreens, pines, that smell hits your nose as you're kind of approaching, and you can see, Acrio, you are the first to recognize one of the church's way shrines. Off in the distance, where you can see the stump of a tree, which has been cut down, but then carved out of the wood, the symbol of Avacyn. Just still part of the connection there. You know, these are safe points, typically, to camp or rejuvenate for travelers.
What an odd spot.
Save our game.
I walk over, I click the save button.
Start the Dark Souls bonfire.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to go all the way back from Corsica.
Yeah. I'll, because I'm the leader that makes all the rules right now, being ahead of Amrita, I can just gently turn my cart in that direction, so we can stop there for a little while. Just for lunch. Get
Sure.
some food in our stomachs. Pray a bit, leave an offering if that's a thing.
offerings really aren't a thing too much amongst the church anyway. People might, thinking they do something. They really, it's not required to leave things in locations like this. It's more like these kind of radiate angelic magic. Yeah, you can pray and stuff like that. But you like offerings in terms of like, oh, I have to leave a bowl of porridge here. That's not really a thing in Innistrad.
Oh.
Because the angels don't ask to be worshipped. They exist to protect. So this is something to help people who go through this area, and it kind of like radiates angelic warding. And you're about a day's travel from the small village of Gulst at this point, so it makes sense that within a day's travel that would be a location.
Oh, so it's a good point coming to Corsica, but not quite going away from Corsica.
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel like it's waning at all, or it's full strength? Let's see.
Make a perception check.
Yeah, how are the vibes?
Are the vibes rancid?
Perception. 13. Not terrible, not great.
Initially, it doesn't feel like much. It's kind of a pleasant sight out in the rocky wilderness with the forest not too far off, and the darkness that you can see under the trees. To see this symbol of Avacyn untouched, weathered, but not destroyed. However, as you're approaching, getting closer to the grove, which, like I said, is those kind of heavy, dense evergreen trees, you can start to smell decay.
Oh dear. Like it's like happy. Feels that death, decay feeling around him, and kind of drops his relieved expression and falls to a more serious one as he approaches the symbol and kind of runs his gauntlet along like the trees towards their bases, see if the symbol's falling to, I don't know.
Roll me a d8 real quick.
Listen, why have you left us? 7.
Okay. You find there is an angelic seal that has been carved into the trunk of this tree that has Avacyn's symbol carved into it as well. Lower down on the bark, there's a seal that has been etched into it. Make a religion check real quick.
Alright. I'm actually not.
Whoa.
Oh, never mind.
So you recognize the angelic seal of temperance, which, when applied, it helps shield the mind from fear and vampiric charms, that sort of thing.
I'm not a wizard, so I don't need to write that down. I have all my spells.
What's everyone else doing as he's looking at this way shrine? Just real quick.
Lorelei's just kind of looking around, seeing what's the kind of general state of the nearby vicinity. If it looks any more lush or, nicer than the immediate outside.
Okay, cool. You can make either a nature or investigation check.
I will make.
Asuriel, what were you saying?
Gonna look around for those berries again and give myself guidance this time.
Okay. You can also make a nature check with a d4 on top.
I need that d4. Hey.
You find three berries that are starting to mature a little bit more on one of the evergreens. Lorelei, it doesn't look to you as though anything is changed in terms of growth. The trees seem fine. The few shrubs that are in the area are starting to flower, the ones that do in the early new moon. However, Asuriel, as you're searching through these junipers and pines, looking for any mature enough berries that you can channel this magic, it's interesting because you've never done it before that you remember, but it's kind of that innate feeling that you can. You brush one of the trees aside, and you are immediately met with a human face, clearly dead, upside down.
So you gotta freeze for a second, and slowly turn around, look, Lorelei, Acrio.
Lorelei's immediately
here.
What?
Body.
Lorelei immediately runs over and just yanks Asuriel back a few paces, protectively.
I'm pretty sure it's dead, and not walking dead.
You never know.
Title card.
Roll credits.
Acrio will rush over after leaving the shrine. Look over the body. Is it hanging
What's
from the
Amrita up
tree?
to, real quick?
Yeah, I'll say Amrita didn't trek up that close as the rest of the group did. She's kind of at the bottom. She's stretching her legs and everything with Petunia, but she's keeping an eye out for anything else in the wilderness, looking around, investigating from a further distance, just to keep an eye out to make sure to see if they're alone or not.
Sure, you can make a perception check with advantage. Meanwhile, Acrio, you push your way through these trees, and you find kind of a smaller open space, maybe 15 by 10 open between a few of the branches of the trees, with one of the taller trees in the center. And from the branches, you find ropes with 3 individuals. Upon quick inspection, seems to be a man, a woman, and a younger boy. They have all been dead for some time.
So what happened here?
You can make an investigation check.
Can I help with some guidance and also help action?
Are you proficient in investigation?
Yes.
Then yes, you may. So you can roll with advantage, Acrio. Taking a look at these bodies, they are very stiff, all kind of hung near each other. It immediately strikes you as someone who would bleed a hog or a deer. But you check the ground, there's no evidence of blood on the ground. Either, if it was super long ago, it might not be anyway, but there's nothing on the earth that would suggest that. So you check, and you can find the throats have puncture marks, and the bodies have likely been completely exsanguinated.
Say a blessing. Look to Lorelei. Help me get them cut down, please.
Yeah. Just gently usher Asuriel behind me and whip out a dagger and just start trying to cut them down from the ropes.
I would also say with a 17, you can find easily 2 to 3 weeks old evidence of a campfire in kind of this little area hidden in the trees, possibly a little bit of torn cloth, and any tracks of anything that they might have been traveling with is long gone, but evidence that they were camping at some point, but it's been close to a month at least. Amrita, you have that strange sense of it's so quiet that it's disquieting in this area. There's no wolves howling or hawks screeching in the air, which is, not a super uncommon. It's the middle of the day, but there's no evidence of anything lurking around you. You can't smell any creatures. You catch the scent of decay even from this distance off that Acrio had noticed, and it does to your senses smell human, but there's nothing watching you that you can detect.
She will go, even though she doesn't detect anything at the smell of decaying human. She's like, What the fuck now? Make sure to keep Petunia close and hops back on there.
With Lorelei's help, you can untie the bodies, lay them out on the ground.
Having all their blood drained almost makes them decay slower and smell less terrible.
Yeah, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
less liquids to rot, but still.
Lorelei will
eyes
start to like.
The eyes are basically gone. You can see there has been birds that have pecked over them.
Lorelei will start casting like gentle repose as like a kind of like ritually over them.
Sure.
Instead of spending lunch here, 30 minutes I can't imagine is too long.
No, that's fine.
How do we take care of bodies in Innistrad?
Bury him.
Yeah, because cremation is considered bad.
Do we have a shovel?
This Lorelei doesn't.
You can roll to see if you have one in your supplies, depending on what your supply level is.
3.
Okay.
What do I roll? Just D20?
Percentile. It would be percentile. You need to get 30 or lower. Just you do in fact have a shovel. You do have a shovel. Yes.
You guys set up lunch, eat. I'll get these bodies buried.
All right.
Start shoveling.
Does Amrita see this by
he's
now,
shoveling
riding
up.
up with Petunia?
So if you ride up, you can get next to the way shrine, but they're in the trees a little bit, so it's difficult. You can kind of see movement between them, but the horse can't really fit between the trees very easily. So you can see that there's motion and stuff going on, but can't get up next to it if you're trying to ride.
Reluctantly, she gets off the horse, just like mumbling to herself, and probably stops if she sees that scene happening.
Mm-hmm. You just are met with the sound of spade hitting rocky earth and Acrio's boot hitting it as it digs deeper, and he begins to dig several graves. Or are you trying to do one
I'll do
larger
one
grave?
One big one, toss them in. Not 3 separate, that'll take way too long.
Yeah.
And as he's like halfway in, he's kind of like watching the others eating, and he's like, vampires not usually this brave. It's supposed to be a safe spot.
That fear and concern that you had that there is a waning to the wards seems to be confirmed.
Amrita will walk closer over, but doesn't get any further, but stares at the hole in the bodies and stares at the graph and mutters an angelic. Obviously, the people that know it would hear it, just like, by the angels. That's all she says.
Why the fuck does Amrita know angelic?
You've never
We'll
asked.
have to find out, yeah. Yeah, the Cathar just like confused noises. Werewolf that speaks. Fire. Angelic. What?
Do I speak angelic? No, I don't speak angelic. I only speak common, because folk heroes don't get a second language.
Yeah, Cathars, they're taught enough angelic for the verbal components of their spells, but only more scholarly types really go and study the language.
So then,
Sure.
Lorelei knows angelic.
yeah, I was about to say those two would hear it, but it's not
But
like anything bad. So
yeah, we're not gonna. Stuart's not gonna talk to her. She scares her.
Oh wait, I forgot to add my background items, because I definitely have a shovel, an iron pot, and a pouch containing 10 gold. I did get the 10 gold. I ignored the shovel though.
But yeah, you ended up with it regardless. So
Yeah.
you should add that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little awkward trying to like make a wrap with some of the salted pork and such that you had gotten, to eat lunch while bodies are being buried like 20 feet away. But that's Innistrad. Lorelei, you would probably, with your passive perception, also notice where Acrio had been checking the way shrine, this angelic seal that has been carved into it.
Yeah, I recognize it as being different to the one that I have, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
I probably don't know what it is, but I just know it's not the one I have. Yeah, after she's like done the kind of gentle repose, the ritual over the bodies and let them be buried, she goes over to look at the seal a bit more closely.
Do you have 6 coppers?
Oh yeah, shit, I forgot about that. And we're gonna cover
What? For what?
gentle
You have to put a
repose.
copper piece on the eyes, or at least the eye holes of every person
Yeah.
that you
I forgot
have
about
to
that
repose
part.
on.
I have 2.
2 coppers for one of them. Oh no. Yeah, she kind of
Maybe
realizes
just
she
a
would.
child.
She would realize midway through. Then she doesn't have enough. She's like, "Oh, sorry." She'll still say like the ritual prayers and stuff, but it won't be like a ritual spell on the books.
Yeah. Finish burying them. Toss the dirt in. Say a prayer. I don't have anything. They don't usually teach how to strengthen shrines because that's not usually a problem.
That's more like the sage's job.
The sages, the priests. Yeah, finish lunch. I guess we keep going.
Could I
With the-
like? How's the seal like presented on the shrine? Is it like carved into it or like embossed out of it?
It's carved into the bark, like you would carve like J Heart R.
Would I be able to like make a note of it and like copy it down?
Sure. That is
Yeah,
a thing you can do with your knowledge of seals, is copy ones that you find.
Yeah, something she like instinctively like reaches for the collar of like her dress and then she like stops and realizes that there are other people around. She pulls out her journal instead. And she will write it in that.
I'm going to post the text of it real quick.
Does copying it into my journal allow me to use it, or do I have to put it on my skin like the other angelic seal to use it?
Well, that's not required at all, but...
Lorelei's like,
That's just the
oh
way-
no, I'm gonna have to do it! And the voice in the back of my head's like, you've never had to do that.
So, it says you can spend 10 minutes scribing an angelic seal on paper, canvas, stone tiles, or some other token that can be carried or displayed.
Oh.
You just happen to use your own flesh. Or you can spend 8 hours and appropriate artisans tools to etch a more permanent seal onto harder material. Once you have a seal, you can activate it as an action. Remains active until you activate another. So currently you have that one active. It would take an action to activate another one. If you just had it on paper, you could give it to someone and be like, here, I use my action to activate this seal. Now you have it.
Got it.
That's so cool that you can do that.
You can only have one
But that-
active at a time currently at this
Yeah.
level. If you level
So
up,
I
you can
ca-
have more potentially, but...
Yeah. So right now I just have the recovery one for me.
Mm-hmm. But you can use this one or give it to other people in the future, should you so choose. So
Yay. Have my own secret thing. It's not that secret. Just gotta make sure I don't put it in the part of my diary right next to all the creepy journal entries.
After they're done eating, I just want to go up to the tree and awkwardly pray for the family's safety in the afterlife.
yeah, there's no afterlife. That's not a thing.
There's a
So
wherever.
to explain, basically, just real quick, what most people would know, and I think with your training in religion that you have proficiency, Asuriel would know, the idea of the blessed sleep is more just like, stay dead. Just stay there, don't get up, don't walk around, don't have your spirit go around haunting people. It's like the the idea of the blessed sleep is you hope that you just stay dead. What happens after that, nobody believes in. Like, there's not like this idea of another plane where there's a heaven that exists and the spirits go there. It's more just like maybe the spirit just returns to mana eventually or something. But yeah, it's more just like praying that they rot.
Less that they go somewhere and more that they don't go somewhere.
They call it the blessed sleep because that sounds better than we hope you decay in the ground.
It was like when you tell someone, I hope you rot, it's actually for their safety.
In Innistrad, that's a blessing.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like,
jeez.
I hope you rot. Thank you. I hope you rot as well.
Yeah, it's like what you say when you like leave someone. It's like, thanks, hope you rot.
But no, that's why they call it the blessed sleep, because it's like your body is dead as if it were asleep and you don't want to wake up again. Because that means you're undead and roaming around and probably going to be unintentionally violent because you can't control yourself because you're dead. But your body might get up, a necromancer might find you and force you to do things, or a geist catcher might steal your soul and power devices with it, shit like that you don't want to happen.
All right, BRB, gotta go get the soundtrack "Remains of the Day" from Tim Burton's Corpse Bride.
Like, stay dead when she goes up to the tree to pray.
I feel like dying in Stensia is probably the best place to die, because like not as many corpse stealers and vampires will just suck you dry and then leave
The
you.
vampires want you when you're alive.
Yeah. It's like once you're dead, you're dead. Like they don't give a fuck.
No werewolves
That is true.
around to dig you up.
But there's also people sometimes just randomly just turn to zombies and nobody really knows why.
That.
Like, necromancers can do it to you intentionally if they have a corpse. Obviously stitchers have to put you together, but there's something about the world. It's just your body might just animate at random.
Fucking hell.
That's why people are like, please stay dead.
Roll that d20 to see if you come back. Hopefully it's a 2, Grandpa.
Hope you roll good on your percentile, Grandpa.
If you're able to eat your somber meal, rejuvenate for the day. Asuriel, are you just keeping hold of these berries for now, or are you going to utilize them?
I'm gonna do that for dinner. I'll use them when it's dinner time.
Okay. Sounds good.
How many more days travel is it to get where we're actually going?
If you push pretty hard, you might reach it by, well, you're talking about Silburn, your ultimate destination.
Yeah, the ultimate destination.
You've got about 3 days.
Oh, okay.
And then the intermittent town is 1 day away, right?
Yes, if you push hard, you'll probably reach it tonight.
Okay.
Thanks. I'm not ready to return to that place where it all began.
What began? Sorry, don't know. Never heard of it. Yeah, with the fear and knowledge of what might be happening, Acrio continues onward from that location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this time Amrita will go ahead after looking over the book and putting it away, be head of the group.
Mm-hmm. Try to keep sight with, I assume, the eye uncovered to give you, another eye. It's always better to have another eye on things.
Ha 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 ha. Hilarious. Yes.
So making your way ahead of the rest of the group, not overly far, because you don't want to be cut off either, but I think Lorelei would be the first to kind of feel there's like this, it almost seems like there's an invisible barrier. Every time Amrita gets like a distance ahead, it's like she keeps that, she's always far enough away that, you'd have to really shout to even get her to hear you. And it's like repulsed, as if 2 poles of a magnet, always kind of pushing each other away. She's got that invisible barrier between her and the rest. And you guys have any, those who are not driving the cart, if you have any downtime stuff you would like to do, you are able to do so as you ride. Just keep that in mind. I think Cillian probably spends the rest of the day patching up Asuriel's clothing, just so that is back in working order.
She'll probably, like, kind of try to help him, like, cast guidance from time to time, look at what he's doing, see if she could maybe do it one day.
Maybe. I mean, your fingers aren't the most nimble. Dexterity's not the greatest, but it's theoretically possible. The skill could be learned.
She'll get some pointers.
Amrita scouting ahead, and with this third eye kind of darting around in directions. As you look one way, it can look the other, keeping all of your senses open. The sun starts to dip toward the mountain range that kind of cuts this valley off behind the far bog. Things start to dim a little, kind of turning those orangish hues, and you start to hear a grinding sound, like a gnashing in the distance.
How far away is it?
Up ahead, beyond a bend in the road even.
She moves Petunia forward an extra 10 feet, but slows down a little bit and holds up her left hand and kind of like a fist, a motion to stop or for Acrio to slow down so she can let him know. Some noise in the distance, grinding sound, not quite sure what it is, but proceed with caution around the bend.
I'll slowly pull up next to her. Might as well stick close together if we don't know it's around.
Couldn't hurt.
Acrio, as you're getting closer, you can't hear any evidence of anything. Your senses don't pick anything up.
Yeah,
you're kind of at a
trusting
point where
the werewolf is a yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You've kind of got an embankment where the road has been kind of cut around a hill, so there's kind of a drop off, scraggly trees growing up on it, and on the other side it drops off a little deeper into the valley. Amrita, are you going first?
Yeah, she will go first and try to be as quiet as possible with Petunia.
Okay, then I will need Petunia to make a stealth check.
All right.
So in the character sheet, you should be able to see the draft horse. You should be able to open that up, and I don't think it's proficient, so you'll just have to roll at straight dexterity.
All right.
Also, are you proficient in stealth?
Me? Yeah, I should be.
Okay.
Oh, no, not this Amrita. The old Amrita, yes.
Okay.
But I am not proficient.
You are not proficient. Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you cannot help Petunia.
Mm.
So Petunia is not trained for covert missions. You kind of try to get her to go slow. She doesn't really whinny too much, but heavy draft horse hooves kind of clomping on the dirt road, not really making any attempt to hide her own sounds. You kind of like start to come around the corner where you see this tree is like up on the hill. Its roots have kind of like grown out of the hillside, and immediately see in the center of the road 2 carts that are kind of broken down, abandoned, but around them is a horde of undead things that are like picking at bodies and like gnawing on things, picking over possibly a few corpses. And as you turn the corner with Petunia, several of them turn your direction.
Damn it! That's what she says.
As you make that exclamation, Cillian will hop off the cart, sensing there is some kind of danger, dash around the corner. I'm gonna put it right there, that's all he's gonna do this turn, as he's like a little bit stunned. Oh. And you are going to be the first to do anything before these undead start to shamble your direction after they pick these parts clean.
Is dismounting a horse an action, or is that part of my movement?
I believe it uses half your movement to dismount or mount a horse.
All right, she will quickly dismount from Petunia and withdraw her bow and activate her Crimson Right. Oh, I only take one away from it, so dope.
Just a minor amount of sangromancy, pulling that alchemical taint from your blood and channeling it into fire on your weapon.
She's not going to move that far. Let's see. I'm going to say probably about right there and shoot at this one.
That was the first one that had noticed you, so quick instinct,
or I said,
shifting down off the horse.
Yeah, yep. I should say quickly in a quick motion, she gets off Petunia and seeing the one nearest to her right staring at her, she activates the flames, her eyes glowing, and watches as a flaming bow goes.
Twang.
Wing.
Wing.
Directly into center mass of this undead thing. Very nice. It reels back slightly with just a low moan as it starts to kind of stumble toward you, directly toward the danger that is faced, completely mindless. Lorelei, you hear that moan and you instantly recognize it.
Yeah,
even
I know.
Not being able to see it from in the distance. Yeah,
I will use all my movement to kind of get up there, and she looks like a little anxious to do this. Which one did Amrita hit? Is it
there's a flaming arrow in that chest, yes.
Yeah, because that one's been injured, I will toll the dead at him because he has been injured.
Okay, they are not exceptionally wise. So for necro damage, as you see it, just the arrow wound that the fire kind of like flickers and dims out, you can start to see like this black wisps and rot just start to spread out from it, aiming for the wound.
Just make whatever Amrita did worse.
You see a lot of these are they look like travelers. Some of them look like bodies that are wearing their burial garments. Some of them have this purple glow in their eyes. And one of them looks like was probably female in life, has these long, razor-sharp fingernails almost hardened into claws, as she is just going to growl and start, like, crawling her way over these destroyed carts. She'll move up to right there, and she will dodge. She seems to possibly be a bit more intelligent than the rest, not entirely just shambling undead, operating purely on instinct. And Asuriel. Again, you haven't seen any of this, you've just heard sounds around the corner. It would take your movement to kind of get up next to Lorelei.
She'll do it. She's just getting kind of sheepish after what happened last night. Kind of poking around her head around the corner. It's like, okay then, gonna cast firebolt at the nearest one.
Just a mote of white flame launches from her fingertips, and that will clip this creature.
Nice.
This undead thing, so yes. Alright.
And then she's gonna hide her face again.
This thing kind of like wails from the burning sensation, seeming to understand still how its nerves work, and being hit with fire does not seem to appreciate that. The one that got shot by Amrita is going to lunge its way toward her. With more speed than you've seen from like the Ashen zombies, these things seem to move with more purpose.
These are some 28 days later bitches.
Several of them, with a burst of additional speed, get up right in Cillian's face. One of them starting to move around Amrita as the one with its chest cavity starting to decompose and singed with flame will make its 2 claw attacks with flanking on top of them.
Let's see, I think she'll use her...
So that's a 20 and an 18.
Yeah, the reaction's not going to do me any good for either then.
I mean, you could reduce the 18 because your AC is what, 16?
I could. It depends on what
That's
I
up to you.
roll, but yeah, I guess she will attempt to try to delay the second.
You'd have to roll,
attack.
yeah, a 3 or 4.
Nope. Oh.
So close. This thing is snarling and vicious. 14 points of slashing damage. Both claws cutting into you around your armor as you're somewhat distracted by the one behind you. Just enough for it to land one of its claws. And I need you to make 2 Constitution saving throws. What's your current level of supply?
2.
Okay. So you will be making both of these with a -1, I believe. You feel there is you're not sure if it's some kind of necromancy or what it is, if it's disease, bacteria, something from these claws. It makes you lock up and you are stunned currently. That will be the only ones who can attack. Acrio, you start to hear this violence, the obvious sounds of skirmish ahead as everybody's kind of bolted around the corner of the bend in the road.
Do I get to use my mules to get a little bit further, drop the mules off, jump out of the cart, smash somebody?
Sure, if you want them in the line of fire.
Yeah, 20 feet forward, leaving 10 feet out of the picture, and then I'll run 30 feet forward, try and
Okay.
get this one flanking Amrita, if I can get
Okay.
that far.
You can, that is doable.
And then I will cast, because this is no joke. Now, Blade of Gisela, Radiating Blade of Gisela, is that the first attack deals that 1d8 and then never again? Or is that for 10 minutes every time I attack 1d8?
The radiant damage is on every hit.
Okay. Alright. So I'll cast that as a bonus action, run up, and then just try and smash this zombie in the back of the head.
And that is on the hammer because it doesn't have to be an actual
Yeah, the
blade,
hammer.
but yeah.
Yeah. So, Radiating Hammer of Gisela.
Unfortunately, as you're focused on the spell and everything you need to do that, this creature's faster than undead that you've dealt with before.
And determination.
Oh.
Humans are not determined.
Yeah.
You're wishing you had actually spent more time training with martial weapons at this moment.
Yep. Uh-huh.
As these undead are, you recognize, definitely propelled with some kind of actual intent behind them.
Oh dear.
What that exactly is concerning these carts, whether that was just they were told to destroy, kill, maim, undetermined, but they are quick and under some kind of compulsion.
Don't like that.
Hate it.
Cillian's not in a great spot, so he will disengage as a bonus action. Getting into one of these like positions, probably being like, "Sorry, don't. I'm not trying to hide behind you," but and then just
It's fine.
Fling a needle.
You can hide behind us.
at the one Acrio was going for. Catches in the clothing, does not manage to actually destroy anything as he curses to himself. Amrita, you are in a bit of a tight spot. You are stunned currently. You can repeat the saving throw at the end of your turn to end the effect. So
2 con saves?
just one. No, just one, because the 2 was for each claw. You are able to end it, thankfully.
Woohoo!
But that is the end of your turn, unfortunately, as you are able to shake off whatever was forcing itself into your mind.
Okay, I'm going to interpose myself between this zombie and Asuriel, because I would like it to not be, directly in her business. And let me I will cast Bless on Amrita, Acrio, and Cillian. And I will have the Moon Silver Flail at the ready, have it all nice and glowy with my concentration active.
Nice. One of the few angelic spells that you have kind of self-taught, the blessing of the angels projected out from you with a holy word. And this thing will get a little bit closer, kind of snarling and pointing, seemingly giving some kind of commands to these others. That is all she is going to do, in addition to taking up a defensive stance herself. Asuriel, you have a Lorelei interposed between you.
Yeah, because she was starting to scream internally when Cillian went away. But, with all these zombies pumped up over here, now sounds like a great time for Moonbeam.
Big boon meme hours, let's go!
Yup. Let's drop it right on the more intelligent looking one. Or more the one beside her, like this would hit something.
Yeah, that'll hit more if you go for the one beside her. There's a dog barking in the other room for some reason.
I hear it.
Yeah, I saw Danielle freak out.
Here, take a
Boon
potato
meme.
chip.
Boon meme.
Quiet and eat a potato chip.
Yes, the clouds part slightly. It's kind of a sunbeam at this point. I mean, the sun's distant, kind of that orangish sunset glow starts to pierce through the clouds, shining down directly on these beings of undeath. 2 of them will have to make Constitution saving throws at the beginning of their turn. I think
Alright,
one of them succeeds.
Yeah, one of them succeeds. Wait, what about the third one? Oh no, wait. Okay, it's not the beginning of her turn. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
But you can roll damage, and she will make that at the start of her turn.
Yes. That's not bad.
That was pretty good. So the one in the center takes the brunt of this, while the one off to the side kind of shifts out of the light slightly, not quite as damaged.
Dear. No.
Yeah.
That's going to require a dash from that one.
Ah!
So there will be 2 of them attacking Amrita, 2 of them attacking the guy with the helmet on. Acrio.
The guy with the helmet on.
Hey, you! What are you doing here?
Hey, helmet man!
You were the
So-
better
Hey,
one.
helmet man.
Ooh, the second one just hits.
The teeth gnashing into you and pulling at your skin. They're not like overly sharpened. They're kind of, they're just human teeth, but that pain is still pretty intense. And the second one will use both of its claws. These do have flanking, but the first one would have hit regardless, so.
Nope.
It's-
Oh, her. Oh, her. Oh, no.
Not an insane amount of damage from these hardened fingernails, but I do need you to make 2 Constitution saving throws.
Do I take both the 5 and the 4?
Yes, so 9 points of damage.
Yep,
Get you
I am
blessed,
in
so you get a d4 to the saving throws.
Okay. I'm in single digits now. I'm bloodied.
Hey.
And some blesses. So it's then 23 and 20.
Yes, even with the negatives from being slightly undersupplied, you are successful in not being stunned by either of these. The next 2, no flanking, going against Acrio. They're just going to all use their claws against him.
Oh.
Oh.
You take 9 slashing. I need you to make a concentration check, first of all. very easily maintain the radiance coming out of your hammer, but then I also need you to make a Constitution save. I think your supplies are at 3.
Yes.
So you're well supplied. You make this normally, and then with a bless on top.
Oh god. Okay.
But-
That's not going to save you,
5
I don't think.
plus 4, and I'm gonna roll a hero point on that. Does that make it?
Was that
9
15?
but 15. Yes, it does.
Oh, thank fucking god.
You succeed.
'Cause
You are not
I need
stunned.
to do something.
Good,
Okay.
because that is your turn now, having not been
Okay.
stunned by these mana-infused undead.
Like, Acrio's starting to hyperventilate in his mask, and he's like, as he's getting surrounded by zombies, he like throws up his hammer, and I'm going to cast Turn Undead with my Channel Divinity. Everything needs to make a Wisdom saving throw.
Cool.
They're all within 30 feet.
They are also within the Ghast's radius for that, so they will all have advantage on this. She will be the first one to do so.
My save, it has to be, oh god, it's a 14.
Yeah.
14. They do not have a great bonus, but they do have advantage. So,
Fail. Oh my god, 11, 12, 11, 12. Aww.
One makes it, okay. And that one just
2 of them make it.
okay.
Cool. What does it look like when you turn undead, channeling the angels?
He throws his hammer up into the air, and then as it kind of turns in the air and then comes back down, the ground just like erupts in like holy energy and just blasts through everybody else, but like slams into the zombies, hopefully throwing them into disarray and fear.
Nice. There's a shimmer of white mana that projects out from you that disrupts the black that has caused these things to arise. You see that purple light in their eyes flicker a little bit. They don't react immediately, but they've all been hit with this magic and concussive force.
And then bonus action, I'm gonna throw out a spiritual weapons, not concentration. So I use Radiating Blade, I'll use Spiritual Weapon, that puts me at 1 second level. It's a lot, but we're getting fucked right now. Does this one, which one's the one that Amrita shot?
Yes, that one right in front of her, yeah.
Okay. So I'll drop it right here and just try and clock that one over the head. Oh, God.
Does bless apply to spiritual weapon attacks?
I believe so, because it's a spell attack, a melee spell attack, so it does
Is it
count.
1d 15?
Yes, 15 will hit,
7 points of force damage, willy-nilly.
takes it on the back of the head, this hammer swinging through the air, still continuing to move. Cillian, gonna do that. He will hide first. He'll make an attempt to hide. That seems to be above their passive, so he just kind of like ducks in here, and then from a hidden position will, with advantage, throw a needle at the one that is kind of behind Acrio, which is lucky because it is one of the ones that is not turned, but he does not know that, and he needed that advantage.
Doesn't need the bless.
Also still moving, but the one just to your left, Acrio, down here, looking worse for wear as you see this needle has like punctured at the base of the spine, so that the nerves, as much as they are controlled still by the brain, are starting to jiggle a little bit.
Jiggle.
Not function as
Jiggle.
Yeah. spaz a
I
little
got
bit.
that Innistrad jiggling fever.
Yeah.
The 2 that are next to me, everything else is gonna run away.
Let's see, is it worth it to try the eye bite while I'm at 6 points of HP? If I disengage, they're still gonna try and get me, though, aren't they?
So
They were just hit with some kind of magic from Acrio. You don't exactly know how that works, but
yeah, nobody knows
They
how
don't
that
seem-
works.
their eyes glaze over as much as you can see of their like kind of radiating, glowing eyes. They kind of like lean back, looking at the sky. Some of them, especially the ones right next to you, so they don't seem quite as much as in attack mode.
Okay, if that is the case, sorry, I was very confused by that spell for a second, because I was looking at my
It's
own
a channel
stuff.
divinity, but yeah.
All right, yeah, channel divinity, whatever. Yeah, seeing that, then she is going to disengage and hide.
Oh, bye.
Running for the trees.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's not looking good, so she's gonna stay out of the way for a bit.
Lick her wounds. Lorelei.
I got the kind of vibe that the ones in front of me were affected by Acrio, didn't I?
You're familiar with the ability to channel angelic magic to turn away undead things. It's been one of the things that's kept you alive as long as it has. So yeah, you immediately recognize it on the two in front of you.
And I would know that it would mess with it if I attacked them, right? I pretty much, yeah. Bitchy McGrew over here, though, didn't get affected by it, did she?
She doesn't seem to be, no.
In that case, I will... While I'm just, like, posted up here in front of Asuriel, I'll just kind of I'll hold a wall, and I will attempt to toll the dead on her. I don't know if she's been injured yet or not.
I can't remember who injured her, but she does look to be a little injured.
Yeah, then I will toll the dead on her, just to...
As she does seem to be in charge, her mental faculties, such as they are for an undead thing, are superior.
Yeah, I'll stay where I am then.
That bitch gonna shriek probably
The
or some
giant rat who
shit.
makes all of the rules.
She is going to shriek. What a coincidence. It doesn't do anything, but partially it's because she's standing in a moonbeam and has to make a con save. Which she succeeds, so she will take some damage. But with this spell aimed at her, she will weave through these other ghouls, heading directly for the one that was aiming for her. Her fingernails are long and hardened beyond what the others are, who have just been kind of like scratching. These are like razors on the end of her hands.
Nope. Yep. Hoi!
And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. I believe you're at 3 supply.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But you are not blessed.
I
and
would
make a
like
concentration check.
Can I spend a hero point to boost that?
You may.
I don't know how it'll help me. I'm just going to spend both of them to save me because I do not want to be stunned. Right. Will that be
I don't
necessary?
know that you can spend multiple ones.
Oh, is it just one at a time? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, 5. So that brings me to 13?
13? Just enough.
Yes!
It's a DC 13 for her.
Woo!
But then I need you to make a concentration check as well.
Yeah. And I have
think you
war...
have advantage.
Is that... Yes, I have Warcaster
Yeah.
now.
Nice.
I'm so Warcaster. Fuck!
But it's a new thing that you're just learning, and
Yeah,
bless is
I'm
going
not.
to fade.
Yeah,
Whoops.
bless is got blessant.
Yeah. That is unfortunate.
So hey, I'll be able to use my feature of the moon silver flail now.
But first of all, yeah, Asuriel, you're up as you see this one has rushed toward Lorelei, gotten one deep, gouging claw attack on her.
Internal screaming. Gonna cast mirror image on herself. That is definitely a good idea. She's gonna quicken spell with the mirror image, and then she's gonna move the moonbeam. And how far can she move it?
It's like 30 feet, I think, maybe 60 feet, something like that.
Yeah, okay, 60 feet, yeah. That looks like a good spot. I hope. I really, really hope. Yes, we'll also cost them.
You're sure you're gonna do that?
Okay, Asuriel,
So,
Asuriel,
but she doesn't
these two
know.
right here. Okay, yeah.
But does
Just
she
so
not?
we know.
Does she understand how turn undead works? Probably not.
Can I make a
Second time in a
religion-
session with this.
Can I make a religion check on that, or
That would probably be an action to do.
yeah, good idea? Definitely not. But she doesn't know any better.
Those two that are in this beam of moon/sunlight that the clouds have revealed will make Constitution saving throws. That's the wrong person to do it. But same modifier. Ooh, that is pretty good though.
Damn, boys, full damage.
As they are hit with this moonbeam, this radiance that washes over them, you see smoke almost like rising off of them, singeing their dried undead skin. These two dudes are going to start to bolt. They don't want to necessarily be here. The other two, however, are no longer turned because they took damage.
Fuck.
Let's say can't get flanking on that one, just because it would have to be in the wall. So
Hooray.
there's a ghoul that is going against Lorelei, ducking behind her shield. Just it bangs its face against the shield, trying to bite at her, tearing the upper lips off as it's trying to expose its teeth to get at her. But you just use this little circular shield to batter it back. Gonna go against Acrio, the one that just got hit with the most of this moonbeam, flailing wildly, with flanking on both of these. Can't do anything
will not help
regardless. The armored boy continues to tank, while the two behind, or the one behind him, is kind of doing the same thing, less. It's kind of got that needle in its neck, so its claws are fidgety as it's going for you.
I see.
I see as well.
The ghoul here is made out of ghoul.
Sight. The sight that I have.
Oh, yeah,
So,
sure.
damage will be normal for now. Lose 8 slashing damage from these claws.
And concentration, and then constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Concentration's up. Oh, I think I hit that twice. 16 con save.
16 will succeed.
Okay.
This final one, who has been damaged less than any of the others, and was not one of the ones that was actually turned, is also going to wail on you. You've just got all of these hands. It's very weird that they're pawing and fawning and clawing at you as they snarl with undead mouths. No flanking on these. Same procedure, concentration and a constitution saving throw for effects.
Okay, just keep concentration and 15 on.
That is enough.
con. Okay.
That is enough to not be stunned by their abilities. At the start of your turn, you were going to lose a d6 of bleeding damage. That is a single turn. It's not going to continue, but you lose an additional 5 from the wound that has torn into you. I believe you are bloodied.
Yeah.
Quite a
probably
bit.
At this point.
The rest of you
That
can
puts me
see
at 18, let's see.
through the slats in the splint armor, blood that just trickles out from every spot. You wouldn't think these claws could get through it, but somehow they're finding every crevice they can, and Acrio begins to leak. And
Wait,
we are
my
going
turn.
to drop the curtain on this week's session.
Ah! Jake!
Yeah, my turn.
For Acrio's turn, we will drop the curtain on this week's session. You can do that first thing next week.
Fucking asshole.
Stay
Or next
tuned
time.
for the human pinata.
Mhm.
I
What the fuck?